Fearless Creators. I'm so excited to have with me here today the one and only April Nicole Scipio. As an attendee in our summit, you are going to be so enlightened by this session that April Nicole Scipio is doing for us. But before we get to that, I want to introduce her to you. April Nicole Scipio is the More Coach. She is a strong woman of faith who is passionate about helping people experience the more God has for them. She is a wife and mom of three world changers. She has authored several books and hosts the Live, Love, Lead podcast. As the founder of Live, Love, Lead Media, she is on a mission to equip women of faith to live, love, and lead well in both their personal life and their business. April helps Christian women expect more, do more, and be more so they can move beyond what they think is possible. I'm so excited and delighted to have you here today, April. How are you doing?
Oh, Stacy, thank you so much. I am doing fantastic and so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited that you said yes to the call and for the work that you do. And I want to take a moment to allow those who are listening, as well as those who are going to take the time to feast and to learn from your session to know more about April Nicole Scipio. So let us know what it means to you to be a fearless creator. How would you define that in your terms?
Yeah, for me to be a fearless creator means I first had to get the fear out of my own life. And what I mean by that is, when God called me to create content, there were so many questions. How am I going to do this? I'm a wife, I'm a mom. At the time, I was an administrator, just wearing the thousand hats. But I had to really learn that number one, God has called me to this. And so he was going to help me. And so, Stacey, I wish I could say, when I had that realization, I just jumped in and started creating fearlessly. No, that was not the case. Even though I knew that, here I was still trying to do my own thing. And it wasn't until I unexpectedly lost my job that God had my attention. And he really put in my heart to be available for people, to open myself up to be used as a vessel to create so that people can be helped and inspired and transformed. And that's when I started developing systems to be able to do that. And then the rest is history. God has allowed me to be a creator, but then also help other people implement systems and things in their lives so they too can produce the content and things that God is calling them to create as well.
I love that. Oh, my word. You really spoke to me when you spoke about the availability piece. How many of us are called and set apart for a specific purpose, like yourself and those who are watching, but they don't make themselves available. And you're doing such a great work helping people, putting systems into place so that they can accomplish what they need to and fulfill their calling. I want you to tell us, with all the systems that are out there and all the things that you can create and do, how did you decide what it is you would fearlessly create?
Yeah, I had to decide number one, what do I need? What has God walked me through? Because I believe that when you create thinking about a place you've been and the process and journey you've gone through, you just speak with such authenticity and with such conviction, right? So, what I'm creating, I'm not creating from something that I simply just read in a book, but no, like I've experienced this. And so, when I create content, even if it's on scripture and faith, it's because I had to stand on those scriptures and see God work. If I create content around productivity, that's because I needed that. I was the mom trying to figure out how to be a great entrepreneur and still take care of my kids. When I create content about being present on media, it's because I myself have felt that mandate to be present. And so I feel like when you create from the place that you've been, there's just something about what you create that really, I think, speaks to the hearts of people when they can feel your heart in what you create.
That's so powerful, April. Speaking and teaching from experience. There's nothing like it. So authentic, having gone through it yourself and now holding people's hands through the process. I love that. So, how do you go about planning to fearlessly create? You are also the productivity coach, and I know you take time in really being able to plan so that you can be effective and to do all the amazing things that you do. And so, I want you to even go specifically with the example of when you decided to launch your academy, because I know so many people have ideas and things they know they need to get out there, and we'll talk a bit about what you're offering to help that be possible. But I want you to kind of lay out how you were able to plan to really make it happen.
The first thing I had to do was be super solid on boundaries. That's what I tell people whenever you are creating something, no matter if you feel like it's something small or you feel like it's this big, huge project, you have to start with boundaries because I'm telling you, the enemy doesn't want you to create because he knows what you're going to create is going to help people. And so he's the master of distraction. We start doing those good things and not really the God thing that God is calling you to create. So that's where it had to start for me. I had to say, okay, let me set up some boundaries. I had to really relook at my time blocks and the time I was spending serving in different capacities and not being afraid to make adjustments. And through that process, I had to really confront some things. I always say you can't change anything unless you confront it. And that was hard for me because one of my strengths is loyalty. I love people, I want to serve them. But that loyalty can turn into a weakness if I'm being so loyal to others to where I'm neglecting what it is that God has called me to produce. So I had to really, you know, take the tough look at, okay, April, how are you using your time? What are you allocating to serve others? What are you allocating to work on this productivity academy? What are you allocating as far as time to work on these other things? And when I was clear with that, okay, now that boundary served as a way of protection. It's how I protect my time. See, time is a gift from God, and we get a certain amount of it every single day. We're responsible for it. We have to steward it. That means protecting it. And we use boundaries to protect our time. So, number one, I had to set up those boundaries. And then number two, I had to set those daily goals. I had to say, okay, this is great that I want to launch this academy, but how do I walk this out on a daily basis? What are my priorities? I want to do A, B, and C. And the A, B, and C can't just be a list. You got to pull out that calendar. You got to say, okay, on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, I'm working on A. At Thursday at 3:15, I'm working on B. You have to be super intentional with how you use your time.
I love that, April. So much of what you stated there, I can see how people they end up missing the mark, because I love, first of all, that you mention and you have the perspective that time is a gift. I hope those of you who are listening or watching right now, you are allowing that to be imprinted in your mind. Time is a gift. You cannot afford to squander or waste it. And when you also pointed out the fact that you do need to set those boundaries, I immediately think about how it's so hard for us to say no and to stop and to step back because we feel like we're going to lose ground or lose momentum. But that key word of not just doing the good thing, but making sure it's a God thing in this moment, you can miss what God is trying to bring forth in your life, in your business, the profitability, and everything He wants for you, because you're not willing. First, you're not available, and also you're not willing to do that hard part of shedding things away and saying no. Oh my word. Such a good response to how you need to be able to launch and move forward. I want you to share with us You're going to be doing such a tremendous session for us. And we're just so grateful for your expertise. And we're going to afterwards speak about your freebie that is linked below, as well as what you've included in the Power Pack. But I want you to share with us why people should tune in to your topic in your segment that you are going to be teaching on how to increase your productivity and dismiss procrastination as you show up intentionally on social media.
Yes, I am super excited for this session because I feel like people are going to walk away with three things. Number one, they are going to be equipped on how to prepare. We hear in scripture that we have to, count the cost. We want to prepare the field before we build the house. All these scriptures that point to the preparation. Preparation time is never, ever wasted time. So if we truly want to show up strong on social media, we want to improve that productivity, we want to make sure we're not falling to the trap of procrastination, we got to put some things in place first. We have to prepare. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about, secondly, you have to pay attention. I'm going to show you what you have to pay attention to. Again, like I mentioned before, you have to confront if you want to change. We have to really pay attention to the routines and the systems and the habits we have. Why? Because we always believe God has more for us. Yes, we're creating. Yes, we're planning. Yes, we're building. But man, don't we serve a God of more? And God is a good God. He's not going to give us anything that's going to hurt us. And sometimes what we're praying for, if we don't pay attention to what we have set up, we'll delay it because we're not ready for it. So we got to pay attention to some things. And then third, I'm going to talk about how to actually produce. I believe every single person has a message on the inside of them that needs to get out, no matter what kind of business you have. Maybe it's a service-based business, maybe it's a product, maybe God has just called you to create in whatever capacity. It's something on the inside of you that you've got to produce. We're going to talk about that because sometimes we hold back from producing because we think, man, it's not enough, or I'm not ready, or that's not good enough. And we have the mindset, this negative mindset that feeds to the procrastination. And so we're going to talk about what it looks like to actually produce. So I'm really excited to share with everyone. I feel like people are going to walk away with some specific things to do like right now so they can truly grow their business.
Wow. Oh my gosh. If you're not excited about this and the breakdown of all that's going to be unpacked, I'm telling you, I don't know if you truly heard all the components, the building blocks in order to truly soar and to see productivity take place in your life. Everyone needs that. I think so many people are there between a rock and a hard place because they procrastinate and then they look back and wonder why. How did I miss this? And the opportunities that is before them. So I think everyone needs this sort of session, not just to motivate them, but to put actions in place. And talking about actions, you have provided a freebie that's going to allow people to take action. And this is the time budget Google Sheet. Do you want to go a little bit more into that, as everyone has that opportunity to download that right now below this presentation?
Yes. So we hear how we have to create a budget for our money in order to steward it well. Well, let's do that same thing with our time. Money, when we run out, we can go make more of it. When we run out of time, can't make more of it. And so this time budget allows you to look at the 168 hours you have in a week and pre-decide how you're going to use that time. Emphasis on pre-decide, because if we don't pre-decide, sometimes we can let other people's emergencies become our emergencies. We can let the thing that we really, really love take all of our time, and the thing that we may not love, but it's necessary, that may get none of our time. It allows us to let things not fall through the cracks. We don't want to work 80 hours a week, but then we never spend time with our spouse. And now our family is suffering. So this lets you get a bird's eye view of, man, how am I going to steward this time? Let's pre-decide how I'm going to use this time so that I can truly flow in rhythm in my life and my business.
I love that, April. Oh my word. So this is such a gem. Being able to keep track of your time and seeing how you're spending it and how you can make sure you are taking that time to spend it well. I love that. And so definitely want to encourage you, take this moment and opportunity. Don't let it pass you by. I know that there's so many formats and ways that you can plan, right? And I love that this is another way people can test out through a Google Sheet, seeing maybe a whole spread of how they're really maximizing their time. Thank you for this resource, April. Now let us know about how you've generously contributed to the Power Pack set up so you can show up. And this is a masterclass access and this incredible value of what you've provided. They otherwise would have to pay, a special fee for, but they're getting included in the Power Pack when they get the VIP All Access Pass. So tell them a little bit more about what they're getting access to.
Yes. So this masterclass is going to teach you 5 systems to set up in your business so that you can show up. Oftentimes, we don't show up because we're so overwhelmed by a lot of different things. When really, we just need to implement a few systems. Like content doesn't have to be overwhelming if you have a content system, following up with clients, communicating with clients, how you set up your calendar. These are all things you can set up. They're not difficult. If you just have a blueprint, you can set it up so now you can show up consistently and confidently in your business. You can be visible in your business without being invisible to your family. And that's what I'm on a mission to help people do.
Yes, so powerful. You're doing that powerfully, April. I'm just so grateful that we've had this time to unpack just a little bit of what it means to be productive and to think about all the elements therein and the resources available to make that possible. And so I just want to implore you, whether you are listening to this or you are watching this, take advantage. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. And April Nicole Scipio is one of many fearless creators coming to you to give you just what you need to add to your toolbox and to make sure that you can see you are incomparable. You are unique, you're called, you're destined to do what it is that you've been called to do, to use your gifts, be fearless, and profitable. So I want April to go ahead and share with us any last words of encouragement and just imploring you, making sure that you stay connected to this vision as a fearless creator.
Yes, I would love for you just to remember that this is possible for you, especially when you think about procrastinating. It truly is a habit. And sometimes because we've been in that routine for so long, you don't think, man, is there something different for me? Can I experience something different? You can. If you just put into practice the things you're learning, not just from me, but from all the speakers, man, I'm telling you, you're going to experience change. So let me encourage you, take action. This is possible for you to be a fearless creator. It is possible for you. Take the information, apply it, and I'm telling you, you will experience the change that God desires you to experience. Thanks so much, Stacy.
Thank you, April. Absolutely fabulous. Thank you again for your time. Time is a treasure. And thank you for those of you who've tuned in today. I know you'll be richly blessed as you continue on this journey as a fearless creator. We're equipping you to fearlessly create. Until next time, see you again very, very soon.